Hello guys, welcome back to Byte-Sized Security. My name is Jimmy and as usual I am bringing you another hacking video. Today I am doing the third machine in the CPTS preparation track, and it's called Trick. The reason why I'm doing the third and not the second is because the second, which is Jeeves, I did as the second video of my channel. So I've already done that machine. I'm not going to do it again. So we're moving to the third machine. And that one is Trick. Let me just have a quick sip of water. So without further ado, let's just get started. I've got the IP here copied, and let's go ahead and do prep node Trick. That's going to create the folder out of which we work. And let's just also open that one. What was that? That was a different machine. There you go. Trick. Oh, there you go. That was buggy. Okay, and then here as well, let's put the IP there. There you go. And now what we're going to do is go inside of Trick, enum, and external, and then Recon on the IP, and then also scan on the IP, and we're going to call that Rust scan. There you go. And then we can open that, and the Rust scan is usually going to be blazingly fast, and we're going to have a couple of ports here already. This should be finished in a couple of seconds. 1, 2, and done. There you go. And we can copy that, and from that we know that we have 4 ports, so we can essentially delete all of these and add 25 SMTP. There you go. And so the Autorecon is going to be doing its thing, and when the nmaps come, I'm just going to populate them as I usually do, but first I'm going to start enumerating. Let's start with DNS, okay? Because I just want to start with DNS. So what we can do is do dig any. Do I still have the IP copied? Yes, there you go. X. There you go. And the reason why I'm doing this is because usually you can assume that the domain is called trick.hackthebox because that's a machine name and everything, but there have been machines where this wasn't the case. And so if you don't want to assume, you can check it like this. And so this will tell you what the domain is, and therefore, and then you can confidently put that into your etc hosts file like this, and then trick.hackthebox, right? So now we know that the domain is Trick, so we can also start Recon on trick.hackthebox, just for good measure. Now, what else can we do while we're at DNS? Let's do dig any, no, AX to do zone transfer. Just check if zone transfer is enabled. Let's do AXFR, and then at, again, the IP, and then trick.hackthebox. And this time we have quite a bit of more output, and that would be zone transfer. And then here we can see that we have another virtual host, which is preprod payroll .trick.hackthebox. Let's open a browser. And then here we can do HTTP like that. Right, so will that work? HTTP like that. So this works. So that one doesn't work. Did I? Oh, I didn't put it there. There you go. So we update our hosts file, and then this should work with HTTP. There you go. Oh, now it does. Okay. So here we can do trick HTTP and pre-prod. There you go. So we got the website coming soon. This looks like a static page. test@testing.com. That doesn't really do anything. No, let's look at the history. I've now populated it with a bunch of junk. Let's delete this. Delete selected. This one as well. So let's go here and we've got Nginx. That's a server. We can put that here. There you go. Let's go check whether the ports are doing anything. Okay, this is strange. Autorecon is not really working this time. Let's... Oh. Maybe let's not check this one. Let's check that one. Also not working. So let's just do the manual recon while we add it. So let's do sudo nmap -sc-sv. So sc is default scripts and sv is enumerate the versions. And then let's take the IP and then output all formats and call that trick and map. There you go. This should now do its thing on all the standard ports. And so at least we can populate this here, at least a tiny bit, and then take some of the nmap scans for this. But let's just continue how we're going for now. So we've got a static page here. Here we're about done. Let's go ahead and enumerate HTTP next. So let's go to showcase, trick, and then 80. There you go. And then here we can put the screenshot already. I wonder though why Autorecon is not working. Maybe there's something wrong with the domain, because none of my scans are working. Maybe it's too loud, maybe there's just a firewall, something. Let's just do everything manually. So what else do we want to do? We want to do a dirsearch. So dirsearch-u HTTP. Let's do trick.hackthebox and then -w opt sec lists, discovery, web content, and then rafts. And it's a Linux machine. We've got Nginx, so I think it's a Linux machine. So we can go with medium, directories, lowercase, and save that to, let's do HTTP perm. And then we can save that to results, trick, scans. Yeah, nothing's really there. Okay, let's just save that to HTTP 80 directory roots. There you go. So that's going to do its thing. And then what else can we do? We can do a virtual host subdomain VHOST-Fuzzing. So to do that, we can do again. Oh, let's do help because I haven't done that one in a long time. Is it also -u? So it's definitely -h for host. Okay, so ffuf and then the IP. And then -w, and then opt, seclist, and then discovery, DNS, subdomains, 20,000. And then here we can do fuzz and -u. Okay, so -u. It was -u. And then -h. Host. And then fuzz. What are we fuzzing? Let's see. We've got pre-prod payroll trick. HackTheBox. Maybe we can fuzz this. Okay, let's fuzz once all of this and then once just this. Trick. HackTheBox. Yes, this is correct. So let's go. And then let's also do -ic and -a to automatically filter. W, that's correct. W, yes, -u, that is correct. I don't know what's wrong here. So -u. Oh. Okay, so like that. No. -ic, -a. This is from AC. Yeah, -ac. And then S is silent. And what else do we need? I think it's just these. There you go. And then actually I do want to output this. So -o. Oh no. Outputting ffuf is super annoying. You have to pipe it to T. Ah, okay, it doesn't matter. Let's just do it like this, and I don't want to output it now. So, and here I want to fuzz preprod -fuzz. Yeah, that should be correct. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a login pane. And we have a title called Employees Payroll Management System. So one thing I've learned, okay, let's just take a screenshot from this as well. One thing I learned in OSCP is to always Google those titles, because they could be using some sort of software that is literally, that's the name of the software. Why? Let's see. I set up a completely new parrot box, and It's not as smooth. There's a lot of like little errors happening all the time, and look, for example, this. Why is this happening? Am I running too many things? Oh, okay. I found some things already. Let's see if I can take a screenshot of these. There you go, that worked. Why not here? It literally just doesn't want to there. Oh, there you go. So I enumerated this one, it didn't find anything, and here it found 2 other subdomains. Well, no, found 1 other subdomain. Nothing, and then here we find VHOST. So we found payroll and marketing. So let's do here marketing. Pre-prod marketing.trick.HackTheBox. There you go. And now let's see. We wanted to Google this. So let's open the browser. And take this. Let's do GitHub. Payroll management system. Oh, is that the name? Let's do exploit. Not necessarily exploit, but let's just do POC. GitHub. Maybe. Exploit. POC. Like that. So we've got 1 RCE and 1 SQLi. So what can we say? The software running on the web server, on the web server pre-prod payroll.trick.HackTheBox is called Payroll Management System, which seems to be vulnerable to both SQLi and RCE. Let's investigate this a bit further. Investigate this a bit further. Showcase trick exploit. Okay, some things seem to be running still that are making my computer quite slow. This and this. Let's see if that worked. Oh, it did actually. Okay, fine. It was just extremely slow. So let's go to general information, quick scan. Yeah, it did work. It was just extremely slow. So here's the full scan. And so I'm guessing here as well it finished. Yeah, okay, it did. UDP, port 80. Okay, so let's finish this here. So we've got Nmap. Vulnerable to denial of service. No, that's not interesting to us. But web. Then we've got Nikto, which as well tells us that we are running Nginx. And then we've got DNS, the Nmap scan. SMTP enumeration, which we were going to get to, but in due time. SMTP user enum, which is a tool which would have done all the enumeration for us, Bruteforcing a couple of users. Then we've got the Nmap, and then finally we have SSH. Normally I also do SSH audit, but I'm just going to, no, just for good measure, SSH audits. Nmap SSH audits. Sudo. HTTP perm. There you go. And that will give me an output. There you go. And so now the enumeration is completely done. Here we are interested in these exploits. Let's investigate those a bit further. So what do we have here? An admin panel. Let's go into this. We have one RCE. And how does this one work? RCE, save settings. Let's open this. We've got some default admin passwords. Let's do admin and admin 123. So that doesn't work. Was that what this exploit uses? Let's go on to the exploit itself. And get payload, upload reverse shell. Where does it upload? It uploads to Ajax, PHP, action save settings. Unauthenticated. So let's just go to that link. And if that works, then we can indeed upload to that. And that doesn't work. Okay. That doesn't work. Will this exploit work? Should we just try it out? Yeah, let's just try it out. I don't like just trying it out, but we can. Wait, let's also a screenshot of this. Nothing interesting there. Oh yeah, and after we gotta go to marketing. Exploits. Let's see. Clone. Python 3 and then exploits. And let's just see. We need an R host. So our host, that is the target. Let's say HTTP preprod payroll .trick.hackthebox. Our ports we don't really need. Our host, that's us. Let's not do HTTP. Then our port, let's do 80.888 10443. Ports 80. Our host, port, and host. 3 tries. Okay, so that clearly doesn't work. No, okay, that doesn't work. So let's go with the SQLi. SQLi gives us a rather simple proof of concept, and it just tells us to do or 1 equals 1 dash dash. So let's do that. Let's do that here. Send that to repeater. And let's do, okay, we get something back. Let's do dash or 1 equals 1 dash dash, like that. Now it gives us a 1, 200 OK. Did that work? That did work. Okay, so not only do we know, okay, wait, so this is interesting. The SQLi worked. Not only it worked by using what the POC, actually what the POC said, which was or 1 equals 1 dash dash. There you go. There you go. Like this was better. Into the username field. We also noticed that when the username and password were wrong, the server gave us back a 3, And when it was correct, it gave us a 1. This suggests that we are dealing with a Boolean SQLi, Boolean based. There you go. So, what else can we find on this website? Okay, we can delete some stuff. We can add some stuff. Okay. Payroll. Can add payroll. Can add an employee. Departments. Can delete some stuff. Edit it. Position, allowance. That's probably a bunch of vulnerabilities here. Users. Oh, okay. So we have a username. We found the username of the administrator. Which is enemigos. Enemigos. There you go. What can we do with this? Edit. Inspect. Can I find out what this password is? I can. Lol. Okay, so this is interesting. So this is visible here. We can also find his password by inspecting the HTML code. Super Gucci rainbow cake. Let's try and verify if this is actually correct. Let's log out. And we can now enter here, amigos, and here. That did actually work. Nice. And we can put that into credentials. And what else can we do? We have a database that is vulnerable to SQLi, and we have the requests. So let's clean this request up, save it to the file. Let's go to here and call it request, and then run SQLmap on it. So SQLmap -r request -help. Actually, I want to show you something cool, and that is, so SQLmap full help. So SQLmap does a lot more than just the -help. And this might sound obvious to many of you, to some of you, but to me it wasn't. And there's some quite interesting stuff that you can do more than what you traditionally learn. So let's see. Let's do --level 5. I want to go fast. Let's do --technique equals B, because it's Boolean. And then let's just try that. Let's see what that finds. And actually, while that goes, we can now go to this other domain that we found, which was marketing. Where is it? Here. So let's save the login request to a file and run SQLmap to see whether we can find more things. And while we do that, let's also enumerate preprod marketing. This is going to take a minute again until it works. HTTP okay, that worked. Let's go here. Okay, so we've got another website. Let's copy that. While SQLmap is doing its thing, let's further investigate the other marketing domain we found. Let's see. I should have done batch. So there's a, yeah, it did find the Boolean SQL. So now what can we do? We can do -DBS. Let's do -batch as well and enumerate the databases. So there's two databases. I'm not sure this is correct. I think this is supposed to be payroll. Let's try. Payroll _ DB, and let's do tables. Yes, that was a good hunch. Threads 10. There you go, much quicker. And then now it works. Okay, so the burp browser takes a minute to refresh, to take from the DNS. The first thing we notice is the URL. The first thing we immediately notice is the URL when browsing the menu. So for example, if we go to services, it will immediately dynamically load services.html. So when we go to services, for example, the server will dynamically load the page file, and it will tell us what file is loaded. Here, services.html. And so this is badly configured and could lead to LFI, local file inclusion. If badly configured, which it probably is, this could lead to LFI, local file inclusion vulnerabilities. There you go. So let's check if that is the case. Let's go to page, and then actually let's open that in Burp. Here, let's go to requests. Let's take this and then Control I, send it to intruder. Then we will load a list. Let's go back to OPT, sec lists, fuzzing, LFI, jhelix. It's not encoded, and start the attack. And that will have gone very quickly. And that worked. Okay, so and indeed. Okay, so let's try that. So let's do another internal link to showcase trick exploit. And now we've kind of gotten to a tricky point, because we can enumerate in the SQL and the SQLmap, or we can enumerate there, but let's see which one is more juicy. Tables, let's see, table. So tables, that was users, and let's now go -- call. I think it's that. -- help. What is it? C. Oh, columns. Okay. Let's go just, instead of columns, let's just go dump. Yeah, let's just go with that. So here we find that, let's see, this, it was double. You know what? There you go. So we can see that we have an LFI, and we wanted to write that down. We also found a LFI in the pre-prod marketing.trick or HackTheBox domain by using a word list fiber. that. And what do we see? We see a user. We find an internal user or a local user, the Linux machine. Michael. Next, we could try and browse to his SSH authentication key, if possible. Let's try. So what we can do here is go to home, michael.ssh, and then ID_RSA. And that works. Okay. So not only does that work, and that works. Okay, here in the database, we essentially find the same thing. Let's see this. We can take a screenshot of this and then go. We find what we already knew. Okay, I definitely want to continue on this web server, and that works. And so now what I can do is take this and do curl like this, and then save that to root ID RSA. Let's go back, let's go to root and cat ID RSA. That didn't work. Let's go back to exploit. Curl N, I think it is. S. Okay, let's make this a tiny bit smaller. Maybe it's just that curl. Is it N? Dash help. Silence, no. Oh, okay. So it was just the URL encoding that broke it. So let's go to root like we did before and save it like that. And then we can go there, root, cat it just to be sure. Yes, that worked. So we can now save that to an file locally and log in via SSH and attempt to log in via SSH. There you go. And we have to chmod 600, and then we just do SSH pass. There's no password, so no SSH -i ID RSI Michael at yes. And that worked. Bingo. Let's get the flag and enumerate on. Showcase trick internal. Ah. There you go. And then here we can do Michael. And here we could cat user text, but of course I'm not going to do that. And now, what do we do? ID, online, sudo -l. Okay, so we can see three things. First, we're part of the security group, and there's fail to ban that we can execute as sudo. I've had to exploit this before. It's not too difficult. Let's see if I remember that by heart. Okay. We can execute. So essentially, fail to ban is a mechanism by which if you, let's say, log in via a port like SSH too many times using a wrong password, then it will ban you. It will have certain logic, and if you, it's essentially a security tool to make sure there's some sort of access control. And essentially, we can restart that service as root. We can execute as root. Fail. Well, let's just go online and see what online says about fail to ban. Fail to ban is an intrusion prevention software written in Python. There you go. Let's see if we can find the configuration file for it locally. So the way this works is, let's see, fail to ban default location is Etsy fail to ban. So let's go to Etsy fail to ban. And then, so essentially, if you go to jail and then you cat this defaults file, no, is it jail? It's jail.conf, I think. Cat jail.conf. Yeah, there you go. Here you will see the configuration file, the rules, and I think at the very top you will see how long you can get banned. Ban time 10 seconds. So if you're banned, you're only banned for 10 seconds. Okay. But what we're looking for is action D. Let's see. This folder, action D. Everything is written with root. but the folder itself is security. So we should be able to edit things here. Okay, wait, let's see. So there you go. So security, and we can read, write, and execute inside of this folder. We can read, write, and execute files inside of the action D file. And I believe the important file we need is the iptables-multiport.conf, if I remember correctly. Let's see. No, failed to ban. Let's just check it. So first, can we touch any file in here? Touch hello. Is it there? Hello is there. Yes. Okay, so we can create and delete files in here. Can we modify files in here? So let's just say we want to take the ipfv.conf and we want to name it ipfv.conf. Does that work? Why did that? What the hell just happened? Okay, so move ipfv.conf and let's name that ipfv.conf backup. Yeah, that worked. Okay. So we can modify files in here. But we don't want to break anything, so let's rename that. And so now we want to go into Vim and edit this file. I think this is correct. Action ban, action unban. Okay. Yes, I've done this before. So, and now here, yeah. So now here, we want to do chmod plus we want to do a SETUID bit. We want to add a SETUID bit to bin bash so that if someone gets banned, and we will let ourselves get banned after, then it will ban that user, but it will also set the SETUID bit to bin bash. And if we then restart and get banned, we should then after be able to escalate our privileges. So let's see. Okay. So before we do anything, let's take some notes. To escalate our privileges, we can modify the IPT, what's it called? Configuration file to run bin bash upon banning someone on any ports, hence multiport, on any port service, so that when we try to log in via SSH repeatedly with wrong credentials and finally get banned, our command to set the SETUID bit will also get executed. Let's try that. Showcase trick PrivEsc. And that would be Michael to root. There you go. And then let's just take a screenshot of this and do, where is it? iptables-multiport.conf, there it is. And there. And so now let's cat it again just to make sure iptables-multiport.conf. Oh, so it resets. Damn it. Okay, so it resets. Okay, let's take this. Multiport conf. There you go. Let's go all the way down. Limit. Enter. Like that. Like that. Escape. Save it. Let's save and quit. Okay, clearly that doesn't work. I don't like Vim. I know I always wanted to learn it, but I don't like it. Let's see. Let's go out. Let's go back in. And then let's try that again. There you go. Cat iptables-multiport.conf. Did that work? Yes, that worked. Sudo -l, sudo, and then let's restart. Okay, so now if we try to connect to the SSH as non-malicious at, where's the IP? If we do that a couple of times, there you go, permission denied. Let's add some more. Permission denied. Let's delete some. Machine denied. So let's do 2 more. Should be getting banned now. So let's see if we got banned. ls alt bin, and that worked. There you go. That worked. So next we try to log in multiple times in order to get banned, and then check the permissions of bin bash. And of course, before we did that, we restarted. First, in order for the config changes to take effect, we must restart the fail to ban service as root, and that was here. That's a bingo. By the way, in the last video I said we have a bingo, and that's a bingo. That's the reference. We can now connect as roots by loading the bash prompt using the SETUID bit bin bash -p. Let's do that. Bin bash.p. And voila, we are root. That was nice. That was also quite easy, I must say. I hope the machines get harder. They should though. But yeah, we have root. Nice. So what did we do? In the last video, I didn't do the review. I remember before, when I was doing my videos, I would always do a review. So let's go ahead. So we started enumerating. The enumeration did take quite a while. So we just started manually enumerating DNS. And from there, we found, first of all, that the domain was trick, and that there was a zone transfer enabled. And so we could also find another virtual host that was set, and this was preprod-payroll trick HackTheBox. And so with those two set and inside of our hosts file, we started enumerating them HTTP. So we opened burp and browsed to both websites. One was a static one and one was not a static one, but with a login panel. The title of this web server with the login panel was, what was it? Payroll enumeration system, no, payroll management system. And so we Googled that, and Googling it, we found that it was vulnerable to one, an RCE, and one, a SQLi. And we went ahead and investigated that further. So we looked at the POC for the SQLi, and we looked at the POC for the RCE. And the RCE one didn't work for our case because it was uploading to an Ajax directory that for us didn't exist. So we went ahead and looked at the SQLi one. The SQLi POC was rather simple. It told us to use or 1 = 1 and that actually worked. But what we also noticed is that the request gave us a 3 or a 1. I didn't show this. Let's see here. So let's see. We have a 3 here. And we have or 1 equals 1 dash dash space. There you go. And there we have a 1. We found that it gives us a 3 or a 1, whether it's correct or wrong. And this suggested that it was a Boolean-based SQLi. With that information, logging in, we also looked at the different pages that we had, and the page was, the application was pretty vulnerable, and we found that we could also read HTML code and just see the password of the administrator. And then we could also run SQLmap and read the database, but there we didn't find anything new. I'm sure we could have done other things here, like read local files or whatnot via SQLi. Actually, let's quickly do that. We could have done, where is it? Here, SQLi, SQLmap, and here we could have done threads, and then read file, and then here we could have said let's see, host, file reads. Is it file read? Okay, let's see. File read dash dash file read. That's what I did, no? Oh, 10. And then etc hosts. Okay, let's go to exploit. And then let's do file read. There you go. We could have read internal files. So I'm sure we could have also here gone and read home, Michael, SSH, and then ID RSA. We could have, but we didn't know that this file was there. Let's see if this now worked. Doesn't matter. Yeah, we could have read that file like that as well, but we didn't know that that file existed. So we also found a different virtual host by fuzzing. And by fuzzing, we fuzzed all domains of Trick, but then we also noticed that it said pre-prod and payroll, and so we just fuzzed this variable, so pre-prod fuzz, and here we found another domain which was marketing. Using that, we went ahead and went on that page, and on that page we found that there was dynamically loaded websites or pages, sorry, and we noticed that we could maybe exploit local file inclusion here, and so we tried that. And that immediately worked with a word list, and so we were able to read etc password, and from there we found that there was a Michael internal user, and then we also read his authentication key via SSH, and with that we were able to log in. Then while logging in, we noticed two things. First, that we were part of the security group and that we could run fail2ban as sudo. And having done that in the past, I'm actually quite proud that I remembered all that. But fail2ban is one of those where you go on GTFO bins and you don't find anything, and so you have to scour the internet to find how to escalate it. And so those paths I usually remember. And so what we could do is write inside of the configuration files of fail2ban, and so we could modify what the action was when you get banned. And there we just said that when someone gets banned, then add a SETUID bit to bin.bash, bin bash. And so we forced a non-malicious user to get banned, and so first we restarted it, and then we forced a non-malicious user to get banned, and that obviously triggered our SETUID bit, and with that we were then able to do bin bash p and get root. And so who are we? Root. There you go. Let's do ipconfig, and no, that doesn't work. So who am I? ID and ls, and there you go. And so with that, that has been Trick. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. And again, the video is super long. I could have been a lot quicker if I had not gone into the SQLmap part, but that's okay. I'll see you guys in the next one. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and if you want to follow for the next ones. And I'll see you guys very shortly. Peace.